Okay. Welcome all. Today's session we will be covering the continuous monitoring part. So it's more kind of a once you have a production environment ready, so there you have a lots of servers, nodes, and especially in case of a Kubernetes you have a multiple nodes running. So what will happen if one of the node goes down? How you would you would know one particular node is down, what actions you will do, those kind of a things basically comes as a part of a monitoring part. So if we just talk about the dev plus ops, which is a DevOps, so in operations basically the monitoring part we will cover today. So for this monitoring part there are a lot of tools available. So some of the tools like Nagios is there, Prometheus is there, Zabbix is there. So today we will cover the Zabbix part. So it is easy and simple to understand, and many of the organizations they are still using it. So but overall concept wise things would be the same. So okay, uh, then we will also see for medium size of installation or deployment environment, Zabbix is perfectly fine. So now earlier Zabbix was lagging behind because it was not compliant, or it was didn't had those kind of a feature especially for the Kubernetes environment. But now they have started catching up, and if I just show you the site, so you can just see it is a 22-year old product, and it is free and open source software, there is nothing which needs to be paid for. Then it can monitor multiple type of infrastructure, servers, application and resources, like as we can see it can be used for cloud monitoring, server monitoring, network monitoring, application monitoring. It also provides lots of KPIs, basically the key parameter indicators, the CPU utilization, RAM utilization, input output, IO, basically KPIs are there. So it provides lot of functionalities, and you can see it is being used by many trusted global brands across the world. Like for example, Salesforce is using it, then T-System is using it. So they are Orange is there, Entity Communication is using it. So it is quietly it's used across the globe. So you can see so basically once you get into this particular part, then you will also explore how to set up the HA part, that high availability, how we can do a distributed monitoring, and those kind of things. So but from the DevOps perspective, the installation of this particular tool and configuration, that in most of the organizations they will have their own operations team. But from the DevOps perspective, if you're working with a small organization or medium sized organization, so you might be required to work on these things, or maybe uh, it is good to have this kind of a knowledge. But from DevOps perspective, uh, most of these things they are taken care by the separate operations team. Okay. Then if we see it you have a metrics collection. Basically it has a dashboard where you can see all the matrices which are collected. So you also can set up the alerting system and remediation. So for example, if particular node goes down, then you will come to know through different alarms. That alarms can be SMS, that can be a email notification, and you can also set up the remediation, if you need to take some action, you can also take action based upon the alerts, if you don't want to do a manual action. Okay. So then there are like different types of industries where Zabbix solutions are being used, like banking, finance, energy, retail, aerospace, government, healthcare, marketing, and these kind of things. Okay, so this is how its dashboard looks like. So we will install and see it. So installation of Zabbix is very simple, straightforward. So it can be installed in a multiple environments. One environment can be a traditional way where you have a different virtual machines, and you can set up a Zabbix server, basic Zabbix solution, and you can monitor those virtual machines, and also you can also monitor and configure this Zabbix so that it can monitor the application itself. So those kind of functionalities are also available. So let's go and see what kind of uh, what different types of Zabbix installations are available. If you see it, then you have a packages based, like where you have an RPM and those kind of things which you can download and install. So if you just see, then they have a very good functionality available. Like you just select the version, for example, Zabbix, choose your operating system, and that's all. And then it will give you a step-by-step process how to install and configure this Zabbix itself. Okay, so you don't need to do anything, you just need to follow these steps and your server would be up. Okay, similarly for they have a uh, integration with the different what you can say cloud vendors or platforms. So you can just choose, for example, AWS. In that case, they will just explain you what are the different costs and things available. So so they are cloud ready also. Then you can run these Zabbix as a Docker container. So you can just get the Docker images from the Docker Hub. So so if you see, here we can see there are different components of this Zabbix software. One is a Zabbix server, uh, correct. Then you have a Zabbix proxy. We will just talk about these things later. Then you have a Zabbix front end, and then you have a Zabbix agent. So basically, Zabbix agents are the entities which sits at a VM level or at a node level and collects these stats and push these stats to the Zabbix server, and then Zabbix servers basically what you can say pre-processes those, or does the post-processing and shows on a dashboards. So Zabbix server also has a servers. Basically, it needs a database server to store all the different KPIs and different stats received from the different agents. So there also you can choose what kind of a database you want to go with. Similarly, for front end, you have a different combinations, like you can go with Apache, Nginx, or along with the different database also. Then you have a SNMP traps, like if you want to send us mail notifications or those kind of things. So you can also configure the SMTP traps. So next part is if you want to have a Zabbix application. So these are basically the pre-built virtual images, or ISO images. Like if you want to set up a whole machine itself, so you get a ISO, and if you want to set up as a virtual machine, you can set up as a VMware, and you also have a OVF for setting up the Oracle virtual machine. So these different versions are also there. Then you also have a Zabbix source if you want to just download the code and compile it yourself. And for a different you have a different agents also based upon the what kind of an environment OS you are using, what type of a hardware is there, and whether you want encryption enable or disable. So if you see here, then you have this agent available for most of the operating system, most of the commonly used operating system. Okay. Otherwise, you also can download the software and compile it. But if you see it here, you already have a for Windows, you have a MSI images which you can install and get it connected to the server. Okay. So I hope till now you are able to get, like, what is the uh, monitoring tools, and probably Zabbix would make a better sense, because it is easier to install and easier to manage. Though there are many other things, like we can just see monitoring tools. So if you go and see the monitoring tools, then for example, so if you see it here, then Nagios is one which is being used in lot of places. Then what we can say, uh, now these days Prometheus is being very much in use because of its compliance with the Kubernetes environment, and especially the CNCF also promoting it. So there are a lot of tools, but today we will cover only the Zabbix part. Okay. So I have one instance already running, so let me just connect it. Okay. So for Zabbix, you need to have a little bigger server, because with small instances, some of the functionalities might not work, because it need to install the database as well as the server components. Okay. So I have just noted down some of the steps, so it would be just easier for you to think. So what basically we want, so here we will just use the basic Docker images, okay, to run on a this particular virtual machine, and we will also use same virtual machine for the agent also, but I will just explain how we can set up other agents, on a different machines, and we will also see how it works for a Kubernetes environment. Okay, so first two steps are basically to update and install your Docker on this server. Okay, sorry, sudo. Okay, so it is already installed. Now we need to download some of the basically the packages. Sorry, Docker images. So we will be installing the MySQL. Then we will install the Zabbix server with MySQL, and we will also install the Zabbix web which is based on the Nginx and MySQL. So basically, this Zabbix web server also uses database for storing the configuration and other things. And my server, Zabbix server, is basically this main heart of the overall system, which collects all the stats and KPIs from different nodes and stores in the database. Then basically GUI uses this data and shows it on a basically pulls it from the database and project on or present on a this your web GUI. Okay, then you have a gateway, uh, which is basically a Zabbix Java based gateway, and at the last we are pulling the Docker image for the our Zabbix agent. Okay, so this is a very simplest configuration. So if you just want to use a normal traditional way, you can, instead of these, you can also download the your Zabbix server RPM Zabbix agent thing. So the way I just showed it earlier, just let me just go back. You can just go with this particular form, and here you can just install the this particular RPM for your Zabbix server, basically Zabbix server and front end and agent. So all together in a same place you can download the RPMs. Then you have to follow, like, you have to create a database, basically install the MySQL, create database, create a user, give it like privileges and everything, and then basically you need to start the Zabbix server agent and your front end. So here also, like, all these things are running on a same machine, but you can install it on a different machines based upon your requirement. Okay, so this is how you can just choose based upon your requirement, but we are picking the Zabbix container because we already covered the Docker part in last sessions, and this is a step towards making it a Kubernetes enabled. Okay. Okay, so Prabhat is saying he's not getting any audio, so I hope other people are able to listen. Is it just a issue with Prabhat?
Yes, we are listening.
Okay, fine. So Prabhat, maybe you can just check with your audio. Okay, so now coming to the okay, so now coming back it. So we were here. Okay, so now we were just using the Docker based images. So here the database which is already configured and packaged as a part of a Docker image. So database configuration, UI configuration, and all these things we don't have to worry about. So now let's pull these Docker images. Okay, so I have already done these things, so it will not take much time, but if you do it at your end, so it would take a good 4-5 minutes to download all the Docker images. Okay, so if I just show you Docker images, now we have these Docker images. So we have a Zabbix web UI, so with the Nginx based web container and MySQL database, and we have a Zabbix server with MySQL, Zabbix gateway agent, and like all other things are the old Docker images. Okay, then next part is we have to run our MySQL server with basically Zabbix with the MySQL server. So here if you see, we are installing, basically we are starting this Docker for a MySQL server where we are providing all the required information from the command line itself, like when this Docker will run. So here we are passing the database name, database user, this database password, correct, and the root password of your MySQL, and other parameters. Okay, so with this we should be able to run our MySQL database. So if we just show it here, so sudo docker ps. Okay, now if you see it here, the database is now up. Okay, now next step is to run the gateway. Okay, so here gateway also, like if you see, it is very simple thing. So it's just like everything is already packaged as a part of your uh, this image. Now if you see here, the gateway is also up. Okay, Now we will run the Zabbix server. So if you see here, we are giving the this name to this container, providing the server host database host name. So if you see here, the name of this server, this database server is same as what we had given here. So okay, so the details of MySQL, we are just providing it what we had provided earlier. So if you see here, the database user is a Zabbix and password is this one. Okay, so this is how basically we will configure our Zabbix server, and it will use the already existing MySQL database. Okay. Okay, so I think there is one question from Sheetal Jain. So what she says, like, I haven't attended the previous session. This is my first session with the women who can code. Okay, so okay, Sheetal. So what we are today doing is, like, we are actually we are about to close this boot camp, correct? And we have already covered the major aspects of the DevOps. Now we are on the operations part. So maybe next session we will cover the container security and maybe a brief session on a Kubernetes. So we already have our videos on our YouTube channel, so you can just follow our YouTube channel and cover or go through the earlier sessions. So probably that would also help you to catch up. Okay. So okay, next part is we have to install the Zabbix web. So here also, if you see, most of the parameters are same. So MySQL connection database things are already almost same thing. Okay, and you're also providing here the Zabbix server. So these configurations are like very standard configurations, nothing special about these. Okay, so but let's go through each and every one. Okay, so now here this is the agent. So I just explained earlier, in this particular example we will be running the Zabbix agent on the same server itself, but if you want to run it on other servers, like if you have a multiple nodes, in that case you have to run the Zabbix agent on each and every node which you want to monitor. So there basically you have to provide your MySQL database server name, so it can be a DNS or it can be an IP address, then your Zabbix server. So basically here you have to basically give your Zabbix host name, correct, and you have to basically these kind of a different parameters are there. Okay, so if as soon as you start executing it, so agent will be up, but it will not be connected to your Zabbix server. So for that you have to do some configuration on the Zabbix server that we will see now. Okay, so if we see, let me just get the IP address of this IP instance. Okay, so if we just open this thing, now we have a Zabbix web UI interface. So username is admin and password is Zabbix. Okay, you can change his admin. Okay, so now this is how the dashboard of your Zabbix looks like. So if you see here, like if there are certain problems you can see it, but since we don't have it as of now, so this is the place where you have to configure your different hosts. So for example, by default it is monitoring the Zabbix server, means like it is monitoring itself, and it is just telling on which interface this server is running. Okay, and other things. But if you want to add some new server, what you can do, you can just write it here. Okay, Zabbix agent 1. Okay, Just if you want to give a group, that is also okay, but here you have to give the IP address, and that's all, I guess. Like, oh sorry, my mistake. So it is just a viewing part. Okay, so for configuring it, so you have to basically go to where is it, host configuration. Okay, so basically here you have to add your different host. So you can just create a host, for example, let's give this one. Okay, just name Zabbix client. Group, if you want, you can just give a group, like whether it is, what kind of a server is it. So for us it is a Linux server. Okay, and text client, and you can just add it. So once you add it, now you will be able to see it in a main dashboard also. So here if you see, you have a agent. Now it will just keep showing what are the different details. Like for here it is showing some on server, it is showing some problem, so you can just go and check for the details. Okay, so agent is not available for 3 minutes. So the, like this way you can also uh, see the different types of status. If there is some problems, it will just keep on showing problem. If everything is fine, this way, you will be just see no problem and those kind of things. But if you want to see the what are the different parameters being reported by this server, you can just go and see it. So this is how this Zabbix works. So if you just want to see the graphical interface, it will also show it. Okay, because on this particular server, agent is also available. So here you can see the different stats. So here you also have the functionality where if you want to see the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 days, last month, last week, so those kind of all time series based data Zabbix collects, and it can show it on a particular graph. Okay, then you have a discovery rule also. So if you have, you can discover your devices or hosts based upon certain rules. So but I just as I said, from the DevOps perspective, the overall concept, or like Zabbix, we should be aware what is the monitoring tools. Some monitoring tools we should be able to see how they look, what are the different names, what different parameters they capture. For example, uh, let me just show, since it is running just now, so we don't have many stats available. So here if you just see cache percentage usage, those kind of things, you just keep you can just see it here. So similarly, CPU utilization, your disk utilization, RAM utilization, network utilization, all those different parameters can be monitored. Okay, so what else? So there are already existing templates also, which you can just put it on a dashboard, so that it will show the corresponding data. Okay, so there are basically lot of different functionalities available. So learning these functionalities and uh, implementing on a production itself, it's a big task itself. Okay, so here you can just create different users and groups, and those kind of things are there. If you want, you can enable authentication for this Zabbix, so that you can have your own database, use a database for username and password, or you can integrate existing AD server and other things. So it also provides a functionality where you can basically write your scripts, because in some of the functionalities, it might be possible, uh, for example, let's see this example itself. Okay, so they have created this script which will detect the host, basically the operating system type. Okay, so similarly, for some of the functionalities or maybe for your application, you can just create these scripts and write it, and they can be just used for reporting those things. Okay, what else? So so you have an inventory and other things. I think it is not picking the data currently, but and this is how it would look like. Okay, so any questions till now, or hopefully it is making any sense? Okay, so next part which we would like to cover is regarding the how to run this Zabbix on a Kubernetes. Okay, so as just now we have seen, though we have not covered the Kubernetes session yet, but I would just like to just show how it. Okay, so Pravat has a question. Does this require agent to be installed on every host? Yes, correct, Pravat. Your understanding is absolutely correct, because the agent is the entity which will collect the KPIs, or different parameters of different hosts, and they will report to the central Zabbix server, and then Zabbix server will be able to project these stats on the dashboard. So whatever the host you want to monitor, this agent should be running there. Okay, so if you see here, so Zabbix has provided the support or basically integration with the Kubernetes. So they provide different types of functionalities. So they have a Helm chart for running or installing this Zabbix on a Kubernetes cluster. Then they also have a functionality where they can you can basically create your deployment files and run these Zabbix on Kubernetes cluster. So here, if you see, you won't get many documentation because I don't think they are it is just like they have started it. So I'm not sure how mature it is, because many of the peoples, they for Kubernetes they are using the Prometheus or similar kind of monitoring tools. But Zabbix has also started this Kubernetes journey, and let's see uh, how good they can be with this particular Kubernetes integration. Okay, so Prabhat also has a question where he says where are the logs stored on Zabbix? How can I delete older data older than the 1 month, because all data fills up the storage? Okay, so basically based upon the requirement, so I would say it's not a log, probably it would be the stats collected from different agents, correct? So these are basically stored in the database, and basically if you have a requirement where you need to collect data or this particular time series data more than a month, or that way, in that way you have to increase the storage capacity. But if your storage capacity is limited, in that way probably there are the many database hacks, for example running a script every day which will basically delete the maybe 30 days old data and those kind of stuff. So in that way you can just clean up your data which is older than a 1 month or 1 week or whatever the requirement is, so that your data is not filled up. Okay, so in this case Kubernetes cluster, maybe in next sessions, if I am able to set up this Kubernetes cluster, maybe I will be able to show how it works. But normally what will happen, so you will have a different uh, Kubernetes deployment scripts there. each and every node will basically have one agent running, okay, and that agent will be collecting the stats of each node, and they will be reporting it to the Zabbix server, and Zabbix server would also be running in the Kubernetes cluster on one particular worker node, depending upon how many replicas you want to run. For example, 2 replicas are there, then 2 copies of your Zabbix server and web UI would be running, and these agents will be just collecting the data from each and every pod as well as node, and they will be just pushing these data to the your Zabbix server. So here if you see, like, you will have two types of agent. One agent which should run on a node so that it can collect the node level stats, and one inside the pod, basically, which will collect the pod or node container level stats, so that you can get a consolidated view. So there you should be able to see the all the matrices like CPU, RAM, and other things, as well as the health of a particular node or pod. But from normal general purpose, you have a Kubernetes dashboard, and these kind of a data, they are already available. But the problem with the Kubernetes dashboard is, you won't get the time series based data, and you won't get the functionality where you can plug in alarms or other remediations based upon when an alarm is raised. So these kind of a monitoring tools, they bring on those kind of a functionality where you can not just monitor your resources, but you can take the corrective action, or maybe you can just send an alarm to your TechOps operations team, and they can do the remediations manually, or they have written some scripts or some steps or procedures, they can be just triggered automatically. So this is how monitoring tools works on. So Zabbix is a middle, lies in a middle layer. So there are, if you have a large number of nodes to be monitored, then you should go for a bigger or some other monitoring tools like Nagios and other Splunks and other things. But for small or medium size of deployments, Zabbix is also quite good and efficient. Okay, so that is continuous monitoring. So any questions till now? I hope you are able to visualize how it is how it works in the production environment. Okay, so today's session, we had all this for today's session. So if you have any queries, maybe we can take it up.